This video is brought to you by Grainger Warranty, your #1 online source for factory-backed extended warranties in the country.
Hey guys, welcome to sunny Florida, where I'm about to review the brand new Toyota Sequoia TRD Pro. And I'm gonna ask a simple question: is this truck, and yes, it is a truck because it is based on the Toyota Tundra, worth $82,000. Now I'm gonna tell you a quick story because the Sequoia almost didn't come back. And if I get this wrong, I'm sorry, Mike. This is what I was told, and Mike is the chief engineer of the Tundra. So apparently Toyota was gonna kill this big SUV because, well, it's not very Toyota-like to have even a hybrid that is this large and this truck-like. But apparently the engineers here in America convinced Toyota that this was indeed not a truck, but a station wagon, and they brought it back. And I'm glad they did because, you know, this competes with other big truck-based SUVs like the Tahoe, of course, the Yukon, and I really have a soft spot in my heart for these big old trucks. Now, a few years ago, Andre and I took a TRD Pro very similar to this over Hurrah Pass in Moab and did an off-road review, and we were kind of mixed about its utility and its off-road ability. So before I go and take this for a drive, do a walk around, let's do this. Let's cut to that video and let me show you what it was like off-road. We have, obviously, just like the Tundra, 2 high, 4 high, and 4 low, so we do have a low range. What does this little dial do here, Andre?
That's my drive mode selector.
Okay.
And by the way, there is no 4 auto. You know, a lot of the other, like GM competitors and Ford, and also to some respect, well, Nissan doesn't have it, but they offer all-wheel drive options where it's kind of nicer for kind of a, you know, wet highways and kind of snowy highway driving.
Yeah, you don't have to think about it, right? And this is an old school truck, so let's say we're heading home, it's snowing, which it is in Vail, Colorado, then you got to be mindful of putting it in 4 high, whereas if you were at an auto mode, you could just keep it in 4 auto and have 4-wheel drive all the time. It's a little firm, Andre.
It is a little firm.
It's a little head tossy, you can tell.
I think...
okay, that's a lot head tossy.
Where's the hula girl?
She'd be hulaing up a storm right now. A little bit of an angle here, a little bit of a breakover angle we got to go over.
Yeah. So also, I like that you have hard switches, you know, for a lot of the camera functions and the locker. So it kind of bypasses the screen. I can watch my cameras.
Well, you can't really see over the hood, can you?
No, the hood is giant.
This is the problem with all these modern off-roaders. They're all just straight up and down. There's no... And what I mean by straight up and down is that the hood is just like this massive bit of metal that's just right in front of you. All right, before we do the rest of this review, I just want to say this video is brought to you by our friends at Grainger. And I'm not just saying that because I'm also a customer. As you know, I just bought a Chevy Corvette, and I decided that since it was 5 years old and was out of warranty, I needed to have a warranty on it. So I went and bought a Grainger warranty for the TFL Corvette, and you can do that yourself by clicking on the link below. So back to the Sequoia. I think it's very handsome. In fact, I like the styling of the new Tundra. I especially like how kind of in your face it is. But once again, just like the Tundra, for a TRD Pro, it's got all the off-road goodies, blacked out wheels, aggressive tires. I really like this kind of funky blacked out cladding, upgraded suspension, a bit of a lift, but yeah, no recovery points. And that's a bit of a mystery to me. But let's see what's under the hood, because the TRD Pro is a hybrid. Yes, it is indeed a hybrid. So as you guys know, Toyota, in their truck line at least, builds hybrids to be more powerful and not as much fuel efficient. And I'll show you what kind of fuel economy I'm getting driving this around Florida in a second. But let's look under here. This is, of course, a twin turbo 6-cylinder out of the Tundra, 437 horsepower in this configuration, paired to a 10-speed automatic transmission. And because the hybrid system gets almost 500 pounds of torque, this big old truck can tow 9,000 pounds. That is a serious amount of towing ability. I mean, you know, that'll tow your boat. It'll tow any of these boats. I'm guessing, maybe not the pontoon, maybe, I don't know, maybe, let me know in the comments below, are pontoons heavy or not? Anyway, it'll tow your boat, it'll tow a lot of things, and I do love that dual exhaust. Now, the Achilles heel of the Sequoia has always been the third row, specifically how much room there is behind the third row. So let's start with this, which is this neat little feature where you can lift the back glass so you don't have to open the tailgate. But if you do want to open the tailgate, you will immediately see that there is not a lot of space behind the third row. In fact, there's this clever feature where you can pull the third row, I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you can have a better shot at it, backwards and forwards to give you more space. But the downside to that is, well, you can see the downside to that. But it does allow you to do things like put this container back here. There is also a clever amount of space, right, a tiny amount of space under here. You do have electric folding seats and seats that also come up, which is nice. But because it's a hybrid, the battery lives back here. And what that does is it moves the floor height up quite a bit. So me and Andre, when we took it off-road, we found that especially sitting in the second or third row, there's not a lot of legroom, at least not if you want to have your knees far away from your chest, especially in the third row. Now I'm here by myself, so I'm not going to get in the third row, and please don't get angry at me, but that's probably asking too much. But here is the issue with the floor space. Now, this is relatively low, but look back here. That's at least a good 4 inches less space than you get in the second row. And that's what I mean about having your knees in your face. Now, in the second row, captain's chairs, no problem whatsoever. 3 zones of climate, which is nice. Tons of room, giant, airy sunroof. I do love the materials that Toyota uses. I love the stitching. I think this is all very nice, and I think very stylish, even a few years on from when this was originally released. Now, one of the other things I like is this handhold right here. You note that it's mirrored in A-pillar and there and there. That's also very good. And then if you look over here, you'll see I have plenty of headroom, even though this massive sunroof is taking up a large chunk of that. And then when you go farther back, you do get more headroom, even though, like I said, you lose foot room. Now, this being an expensive car-based truck, look at that. How cool is that? And like I said, keep in mind, and make no doubt, this is a truck. So if you love the way truck drive, this will feel quite at home for many of you, which isn't a bad thing. You know, once upon a time, trucks used to drive like cabbage carts, but today, especially these truck-based SUVs have smoothed things out quite a bit. Now, remember I said that what Toyota does is that they build their trucks not for fuel economy, but start it up, big red start button, but for towing and power. Let's talk about quickly how the Sequoia TRD Pro drives. First and foremost, let me show you something interesting there. I'm getting 18.7 mpg, which isn't bad, but Toyota does a lot of their truck hybrids more for torque and towing than for fuel economy. So if you're expecting Prius type of numbers, you'd be wrong. Now, the good news about that is that I was wrong when I said that this thing has 500 pounds for the torque. It has almost 600 pounds of torque, so that's really great. But then, you know, you kind of pay for it in fuel economy. Now, it's easy to remember what truck you're in. It says Toyota right there. It says TRD Pro right there. So no doubt what you're driving. The other thing I like about this are these giant buttons and the real switches. Great. And my favorite switch is right there. The locking differential, big old shifter, along with 4 high, 2 high, and 4 low. Unfortunately, no automatic, which means that this will crap. But it does have a really interesting driving position. I love those little binnacles out there that say TRD Pro on them. I don't love the seats, not enough thigh support. Let me give you an example of that. My wife's iX has the most comfy seats in the automotive business, which means that if that's a 1 and a Porsche 911 competition seat, or an M3 is a 10, this would be about a 7. The seats are kind of lumpy and not exactly grand. The other thing I don't like is that Toyota hides a lot of the basic information in this screen, so you can go up and down, and you can go left and right, and then if you want to do things like turn off blindside monitoring, it's hidden deep in there. I never understood why they just don't put it into the big screen. You can turn off lane keep right there, which is not bad. Now, the other problem that I have, this isn't a big problem, but I love the hold button right there. The problem with that hold button in my mind is that what ends up happening is that you end up having to turn it on every time you want to get back in the car. Basically what that does, it gives you kind of one pedal driving so that you don't have to hold your foot on the brake. Overall, the way this drives is very good on the road. Now here we're on the highway. We're doing 76 miles an hour, which I believe is the speed limit here. You know, it tracks down the road straight. The Florida roads are very comfortable, so it's an easy vehicle to drive. I also like the little mirror that acts as a monitor for the rear view mirror. The problem with that, of course, is that in the daytime it's wonderful, but when you lose light, it becomes kind of a potato. Finally, I love the soft touch materials where your arms rest there and there as well. That's always nice. Now, you know, is that $82,000 nice? I mean, there's only one way to figure that out, and that is to head out back outside the car and kind of wrap this up and let you know if I think that $82,000 is too much or too little for this Sequoia TRD Pro. By the way, I'd love to hear your thoughts. We do read all of our comments, and so it's nice to know what you guys are thinking. So, of course, TRD steps, and yes, I'm wearing shorts. It is Florida. You got your better, and we know it's better because it's orange suspension right there. I'm kidding, it's red. And you know, black wheels are kind of out now, but I think with this color combination, they do work. And the reason they're out is because, here's your TRD binnacle, is because for a while every manufacturer decided that it needed to be a midnight or blacked out version, and so all wheels went from shiny to black, and now I think we're seeing a return of the shiny wheel to a large extent. And then the other cool thing about this is you do have this little light bar there, and probably ironically or interestingly, the one thing you will probably not use a lot out of all the buttons here has the biggest button of all. And then you have things like, of course, heated seats and cool seats and a heated steering wheel, 2 levels of memory adjustment, little metal plates on the brake and accelerator. Really nice. These look very nice and very rubbery. Not the kind of rubber that doesn't conform, but the kind that conforms. It's very similar rubber to what Land Rover uses. So all in all, I kind of like this truck, especially in this color. And I would say that $82,000 is, I'm going to use the word typical for where vehicle prices are, but it feels like it's about $10,000 too expensive. Well, anyway, guys, thank you for watching. As always, click on the link below if you're interested in the Granger warranty, which will provide even a new vehicle like this extended coverage. I think that's not a bad idea as vehicles get more and more expensive, and people are gonna end up keeping them longer. So if you want kind of the stress-free nature of having a warranty, click on the link below. And of course, check out alltfl.com for more news, views, and Toyota Sequoia TRD Pro reviews. See you next time. Ciao. You guys love car and trucks? Well, I've got 3 great podcasts that you will enjoy listening to because we are deep into cars and trucks. And talking about trucks, right here is my man Andre and Case working on the next episode of Talking Trucks, where they delve deep into everything that is truckish, including breaking truck news, talking about the different models that are coming up, and of course, tearing down the world of trucks as only Andre and Case know how to do. But if trucks are not your thing and cars are sort of your thing, check out Carish, our podcast that is sort of car adjacent with Jen and Mary being the ish part of carish. And finally, Tommy and myself talk all about cars at TFL's Car Chat, where we look into the newest models, talk about what's happening in the world of cars, break down the latest news. All three of these podcasts are available wherever you get your podcasts, so check them out. I think you'll really enjoy them.